Hey, how's it going? So here we go on our first non-preview video. I actually want to talk about motivational things today, and because I think a lot needs to be said. We live in a time where everybody criticizes everything that you do, and what I'm trying to say is you cannot comment on things. I recently just did a show on Big Herc 916 on Fresh Out, and um, I was hearing that people were having issues with posting things, and I think as a society, we need to allow people to express themselves. We may not agree with what people have to say. We may not agree with what people have to choose and do with their lives and things like that. We may not even like the people, but one thing is for sure, we're Americans, and in America, we're allowed the freedoms to speak when we want to and express the things that we want to. I'm not going to be political, but I'm just going to touch on this. We just did the voting thing, right? So, since we just did the voting thing, people decided to vote how they feel, right? So if you voted for whoever, it was a decision up to you. And I think that we need to be respectful of people's decisions to just vote how they feel, conduct how they feel in their lives. We may not agree with what they have to say. We may not agree with what they have to do. And I know I'm preaching to the choir. People would say, but not really, because think about this, guys and girls. Um, I'm saying this, but how many people in the world today in 2020, what's left of 2020, are actually doing that? See? And if you think about it, you'll go, no one's really doing it. It's select, few, and far between. Because a majority of the people, we have cancel culture. So if you don't agree with what people say, they'll cancel you. People have lost their jobs. People have lost a lot just for speaking out, not really speaking out, just for saying, I don't like this or I don't agree with this. So there's been an issue. So I just wanted to start by saying that is, in summary, we need to get together and just allow people the freedoms to speak freely and not get in any trouble or issue just for saying they feel a certain way or they experience something, so they're sharing a story. Especially on a place like YouTube, you should be able to express and share a story and not have an issue. See, that's the thing. You should be able to express that freely. Like I said, we live in the US of A, and in the US of A, you can express that freely and not have repercussions. But it seems like we're being overwritten to not allow people to speak freely. The other thing I wanted to touch on briefly was how many of you guys out there um, have family and friends that don't encourage you? How many of you have people around you at work that don't encourage you? And even if you're not asking for encouragement, they give comments like, oh, I'll never get there. I'll never be there. I'll never change. I'll never grow. I'll never have success. I'll never have anything like that. It's all just hearsay. Um, it's never anything that anybody can actually prove. And what I mean is, like, let's say I want to be the greatest public speaker, as an example. And, my family's going, you can't do it. You can't do it. You can't grow. You can't change things. You can't become that. No, you're just stuck working a basic 9 to 5, at Burger King or whatever, and that's your future. What I'm trying to say is, you get around people that predict your future, that want to tell you how to do things and when to do things. And I want to encourage each one of you guys out there that see this, whoever sees it, you can accomplish anything you truly set your mind up to. And I know you guys are probably going, yeah, I've heard that. No. You really need to understand that concept. And with it comes the consequences, which is you may have to work hard. You may have to make less money to get to your goal. You may have to work more hours. You might have to take on certain responsibilities you weren't planning to get to where you want to be. And I think it's important for us as individuals to realize that we need to really embrace that concept, because the only way we're going to get ahead with the way things are is if we actually go out and find these entrepreneurships, whether through YouTube or, stocks and bonds and options, things of that, guys, because the truth is the retirements you guys get and things like that, they're not enough money. When we're in a situation where it's saying to properly retire, you need $3 million by the time your retirement date is. So by the time you're 65 or whatever, you need $3 to $4 million just to survive. That 60 or 20 or 30 your job is giving you is not enough to cover that. So there are many options that we have to look at. The problem is, and why I'm talking about this today, is there's a lot of people that don't want to look at other options, that are just comfortable because they're young right now. You see, they're not thinking about later on in the future when they get old, because we don't get younger, we get older. So we need to get together and learn about stock and options and many other things, and buying into things that will really benefit us, because I care about people, and I have worked with people of all different backgrounds and ages. And let me tell you, people go, well, I've got a retirement for 60 grand and I'm going to get 80% when I retire. That's not going to be enough. I wish it was. But the way things cost, the way things are, no way. It's been proven. If you guys look at the statistics for it, like I said, it's usually between $2 to $3 million for somebody to retire comfortably. And comfortably means you don't really have to worry about money. You can almost pretty much do whatever you want, and you could retire comfortably, more than comfortably. And that's where everybody wants to be, where there's no worry and you're old and you can't go work at Walmart, as an example. Let's say your back goes out or something like that, and now you can't work at Walmart because you got a bad back. Well, Walmart, you're not going to make a whole bunch of money, but let's say you needed that extra money, right? Well, now you can't work there. So what do you do? See, that's the question. I've seen people, I'm from California originally, and I would see people at Target. I saw this lady, she had to be at least like 85. She looked 85 to me. And she was working at Target. She could barely hear, ma'am, how are you today? What? That's not good, guys. This is how we're seeing our senior citizens. They should be retiring. When I was a kid, like, elementary school and stuff, when people would retire, it meant they were retired, unless they didn't retire and they just wanted to work and they were allowed to work and do whatever they wanted to do, because some people just like doing that, then that was one thing. And that's the only time I ever saw that. I didn't see people now, like nowadays, being forced to because of their conditions and situations, to be, 80, 90 years old and working at Walmart. That's crazy. Unless they want to work at Walmart. But if they have an option to not to do that, I think a lot of people would be like, well, yeah, I don't want to do that. I want to travel. I want to see my grandkids. I want to catch up on sleep or whatever. and be comfortable and not have to worry about bills. So I'm really getting down to this. If you are surrounded by people who discourage you, who talk bad about you, who tell you you're never going to accomplish anything or never become anything, get away from those people. And I'm going to take it a step further. I don't care if they're your family. I don't care if they're your best friend, your cousin, somebody you've known for 20 years. If they cannot help you to grow and they don't believe that you can get anywhere except for at the bottom of the barrel, then they're no good to you. I mean, if it's your mom and dad or, just one of them or both of them, trust me, do not have them around because they will not help you to grow. Take it from me personally. I've had to cut off certain family members and keep them at bay at a certain distance because I know that they really don't wish me well. Here's the thing, guys. You have people that may wish you well, but they're caught up on their own world. So they only see the tunnel vision of how far that they could get. So they think the same of you. But then you have people that love you, but love you in their way. A long time ago, well, not really a long time ago, but a couple years back on Joe Rogan, Paul Stanley, actually from KISS, lead guy from KISS, Paul Stanley said one thing that he learned in his age that he is now, that he learned over the years of being around, is that what does it mean when someone says they love you? And he said, let me explain. To me, love means, unconditional and being with somebody and help them achieving their goals and growing and things like that. That's what he was saying. So the basic thing. But he's like, what I learned was some people, when you bring, love into the picture and what love and relationships mean to them, the first thing they say is, well, love to me means I just get to get up and do whatever I want and you'll just support me out of the blue. Or love means I'll get to punch a hole in the wall and that's what I do every day and you'll have to like it. So what I'm trying to get at, and Paul Stanley was trying to get at, some people's interpretation is way, way off from what yours might be. And I think that we need to recognize that. So back on what I was saying is on your family members, to them, now you can kind of see it. Love may mean you're just stuck where you are and you work at the post office and you're going to work at the post office forever. You might have dreams of being the best ballerina on the planet and you might have the drive and skill and the know and the connection to get there. All that together. But they don't want you to go do that because to them, they're just saying, it's just a dream. It's not practical. You're not going to make much money. You're not going to go out and do that. But at the end of the day, guys, it's up to you, really. When you're sleeping in the bed, unless you're married, and your spouse is next to you, it's just you, or unless you have kids, it's just you guys, or you if you don't have any of that, When you go to work or when you pay bills or whatever, they're not asking for, gee, what do your parents think? Or let me get your parents' billing information or whatever. They're not asking for that. If you're paying the bills and it's in your name, they're asking for you. When you're at work, they're asking questions of you. When you're in a job interview, they're asking questions of you. They're not asking what your parents think. They're not asking what your friends think. They're asking what you think. Arnold Schwarzenegger put it best. What do you want to be is what he said, and I'm talking about not what your parents want you to be, what your teachers want you to be, what your friends want you to be, but what do you want to be and what do you want to accomplish and what do you want to achieve? And I'm coming up on 38, which isn't super old, but it's enough time to live long enough to really understand a lot of things in life. 38 is a good age to really start reflecting on your life, especially me. I'm married. I have one son. So I'm a parent, I'm a husband. I've been around a good while, seen a lot of things, done a lot of things, which we'll get into in later videos. But I'm just saying, I've seen a lot, and then you start thinking and you reflect on, man, how can I have done this different, or how can I do things different now? You start thinking about things like that, and this is how things come into play. And when you get to this age, I start looking at all the people that discouraged me and things I did not do. There are a lot of things I did do later on, but there was a lot of things that I did not do at those times. And I got to do a lot of those things later on, but I'm saying if I was younger and got to do that stuff, follow me, guys. If you were younger and you got to do that, look at as the time gets up and now you're 38 and you started, like, let's say 19, with the knowledge that you have now at 38 that you could have had back then at 19, but you were so busy listening to other people and trying to appease them. If you just took a minute, breathed, and thought about, this is my future, and so I have to start thinking about that. So let me start making some decisions to help brighten my future, or taking risks and chances that could possibly turn into something awesome. And you started like at 19, I guarantee you, maybe this wouldn't have worked out exactly the way you wanted to, or this, but something would have worked out, okay? And you would have been looking back going, oh man, this is great. Now I'm able to do this. Or now I'm able to go do that thing I wasn't able to do as well last time, but now I've got experience and time and all that. Now I can reapply myself and try it again. You see, instead of, here I am, 38, and I didn't try any of that. And I haven't been practicing or getting experience doing any of it. So now I'm just sitting here stuck. You know, the last thing you want to be is stuck, but stuck because you're trying to appease other people. If you make a mistake and it's all on you, or you make a decision and it's all on you, whether if it goes great or if it goes in flames, at the end of the day, you can say that I made the decision. No one else got in my head or convinced me to go in another direction. And that's really the key. You need to remember that life for you is about what you want to do, okay? It's about what you want to do. Now, like I said, if you're married and you have kids, yeah, you have to consider them as well. But there's a time that we all had where we weren't married and we didn't have kids and we didn't have that type of responsibility. So we have to remember we were at that place at one time. And what were we doing? That's why I'm asking that question. What were we doing at that time? Were we just floating around in life? Were we trying to figure stuff out? Or were we actually going out there trying to do some things? See, and a majority of people, they weren't doing anything. They were kind of lost. Because I know I was. And it took me a long time to get to that point. So the point of this video, besides telling you guys this, is also start today. Start now. If you're young and you're watching this video, drop everything and start working towards those goals. Live for today. Live hard. Okay? I had a coworker recently ask me, I think last week, you know, because I've been through a couple crazy things. I said, did you ever worry about dying? And I told him, I said, look, I don't worry about dying because I'm too busy living. And if you're too busy living and trying to figure out things, you don't really have time to think about dying. You know, so don't think about dying. Don't think about failure. Don't think about not making it. Thinking about making it and living life hard and coming at life, grabbing it by the throat, seizing it for everything that you want. Under the sun, under the galaxy, whatever you want. Come at it hard, but be willing to pay the price and work hard to get there. All right? That's the motivational thing for today. tune in. We're going to be doing more of that, and we're going to be talking about other things, like I've said, about custom action figures, comic books, professional wrestling, things of that nature. So professional fighting, MMA, martial arts, film discussions. We're going to be talking about that. All right. So enjoy. D's for Danger. Have a good day.